one second. Okay. So our topic today is about love languages and what they mean and what they represent. And I'm not 100% for sure if everybody understands what love languages are and what they mean. So I kind of want to be able to share a little insight about them and give you guys some knowledge. And I know Catherine has something that she needs to share as well. Um, I'm sorry, it went away. Um, I know that she has something that she needs to share as well with you all. And so we'll kind of chime in a little bit back and forth because we both have some knowledge about it. And so basically, love languages talk about the way in which people need to be loved. At the end, we will put a link in the chat for the quiz you all can take. If you haven't taken this quiz before, you can take it and it'll go into detail and you answer different like scenario questions and you'll be able to find out which your specific love languages are. It's pretty quick, really simple and easy, and it's enjoyable. And you'll recognize that sometimes we think what we need is really what we need and it's not what we need, but it may be the way that we care for others and it's not necessarily how we like for things to be done for us. So I have the actual book too, with the 5 love languages. And so the 5 love languages are words of affirmation, acts of service, receiving gifts, quality time, and physical touch. And each one goes through different steps in which they can be exemplified and showed for people. And so I don't want to get too deep into it because I'm not 100% for sure how familiar you are yet. So we'll kind of go back and forth and piggy off of there. And then if you guys have any questions or anything that you want to be answered in regards to this, we're here.
Okay, thank you all so much for coming. And I just want to make a couple announcements before we go in. Also, I have a presentation that I want to show you guys about the 5 different love languages. I would like to introduce, we do have a guest for today. I'm going to bring her in later on in the segment. Her name is Melinda Crawford, and she is a diversity and inclusion specialist. She's also the co-founder of Rook and TCAS, and she's also the president of Trust the Process. So we're going to bring her in a little bit later. We want to know exactly her viewpoints and the things that she wants to share. She's very, very knowledgeable in her field. She have a lot of experience in many different areas, and so we definitely want to welcome her. And just really quickly, before we also want audience participation today, that would be extremely wonderful. So I'm just going to share my screen really quickly as we go into the 5 different love languages. Give me 1 second. Okay. Can you all see my screen?
Yes.
Okay, so as Ashley mentioned before, the 5 different love languages are words of affirmation, acts of service, quality time, touch, and giving gifts. 1 second, let me move this out the way. Okay, so words of affirmation. Can you still see it? I'm
No,
sorry.
your screen went away.
Okay, 1 second. Okay, so words of affirmation looks like listens attentively and responds carefully. It also motivates the person who speaks words of affirmation motivates you with encouraging words. They express love and gratitude often. They enjoy giving and receiving written cards, and you will find them. They love spoken word pieces. So this is just to how to identify the pattern of an individual who speaks the language of words of affirmation. me every time I take it off.
Yeah, every time you exit out, it leaves.
Okay. Can you see this?
Yes.
Okay, so how to identify the pattern of a person who loves acts of service. They will offer to help clean, cook, and run errands for you. They go out of their way to help you to lighten the load, whatever that may be. This person will show, they will become upset if you don't follow through with promises that you've made to them. And also, they enjoy serving a higher purpose in life, and you will usually notice that they are philanthropists and humanitarians. So it's going to click out again. We're going to work with it. Okay, maybe not. All right, so how to identify a person who loves quality time. They will prefer one on one together. They will avoid giving attentions to outside distractions. So they would like cut their phone off or just like, want to be like in a cubby hole or something, like spending time together. They would create special moments alone together. They will want your undivided attention. And this person avoids like isolation. They are the kind that will want to be with someone often. A person who enjoy physical touch. How to identify this individual is they enjoy physical affection and gestures of love. They express themselves in nonverbal ways. Feels neglected if not touched in a timely manner. Makes intimacy a thoughtful priority. They love to cuddle, hold hands, play with hair, kiss, sit together, etc. An individual, how to identify
Excuse me,
someone.
Catherine, we can't see your screen. I mean, we can't see what you're reading. It's still on active service.
No, okay, I'm sorry. Okay, so let's do gifts. Mm, okay, we're gonna just do gift right now. Okay, so a person how to identify a person who's a gift, who acts of um, love languages gifts is they remember special occasions and dates are super important to them. They give tokens of appreciation through material and tangible items. They need to feel, touch, see it. They offer to pay for things that you need and want. They enjoy pleasant facial expressions and experiences after they give gifts, meaning they want to see how happy you are, how excited you are to receive it, because they've put a lot of time, attention, and effort into giving you this gift. And they're usually a fact oriented type of individual. Sorry, y'all. Okay, let's go back to the physical touch. Okay, so they enjoy physical affection and gestures of love, expressing themselves in nonverbal ways. Feels neglected if not touched in a timely manner or given attention to in the way that they want. Makes intimacy a thoughtful priority. It loves to cuddle, hold hands, play with hair, kiss, sit together, etc. Okay, quality time, prefers one on one time together, avoids giving attention to outside distractions, create special moments alone together, like dates, walking, holding hands, walking in the park, or just things like that. They want your undivided attention. So this individual will be like, no, don't, put your phone down or, you know, just seclude yourself. And then they enjoy isolation as well, time by yourself. Okay. So now we're going to do a Q&A. So based off of what we shared today, to identify the traits of individuals with those love languages, it's like how do you express your love to others? So think about that. Think about how do you prefer to receive gestures of love from others? What is your love language pet peeve? Um, how can you articulate your needs clearly now? How can you identify the needs of other now? And when taking in consideration that we all have different love languages, it's like keep in mind and identify the patterns and behaviors. So a person that is a person that love language is gifts, you will notice that every birthday, every occasion, they're making sure that they get something for you. They won't forget a date, things like that. Or if it's an individual who like one-on-one time spent, they would be like, turn your phone off. Let's turn our phones off. Let's like, get away from the world. Let's spend some time together. So instead of like, since we all have different love languages, it's important for us to not like, um, push off another's way of showing their love or taking it personal if it's not reciprocated a certain type of way, but just understanding that their love language is actually different than yours. And we have one more screen, and I'm going to give it back to Ashley. And so today I would like to share this affirmation of love language. And it's that today I will make someone's day special by showing that I care. There is limitless there is limitless love that I have to share. And this quote is from Angel Oasis. So Ashley, I am going to give it back to you now.
Thank you for that. That was beautiful.
Welcome.
Um, is there anybody who knows what their love languages are or are aware of love languages? Oh, okay. I see your hands now. Sorry. I had to switch my screen. I'm like, everyone's quiet. Okay, good to know. So I kind of want to read a little snippet from the book as well. And kind of really as a whole, in regards to just the way you choose to show up, moving from a place of love, in general, is a space that I feel as everyone needs to take the time to like really consider, because the same like grace and compassion that you give for others is the same grace and compassion that you should give to yourselves too. And also with love languages, being aware that the way that you need to be loved is important, because one, you'll be able to communicate that to others, but more importantly, you'll be able to give that to yourself. And sometimes it's the smaller gestures that really make the most sense and that really magnifies how you'll actually feel throughout a day. And recognizing when you're and listening to your intuition and recognizing what your body is telling you in the ways of like, sometimes you need rest. Sometimes you can, be busy and you don't take that time to actually sit still, to that time to like isolate yourself, and you're constantly like on the go, and so you're not receiving love in the way that you need to just even recognize what's important and what it is that your body is telling you that it needs. Sometimes that is like buying yourself, flowers, or buying yourself candles to light, and not necessarily wanting to receive things from other people. And so reminding yourself of the ways in which you need to be loved, especially on days where you may not be feeling your best self. You may not want to be around other people, and you may not actually be in a space to communicate what it is that you need. So asking yourself, what is it that I need, and how can I show up for myself today?
Absolutely. Can we get some audience participation? Can you just name, out of everything that we've named today, can you just identify, put in the chats and identify what your love language is?
Oh, okay. I'll go ahead and talk. Just look, I seen this book. This book been out about how many years? The love language book, a couple of years.
Yes, it's been out, let me see, since
I'm familiar with it, but I never read it.
I have not finished the book all the way through, but it is a really good book.
Oh yeah, that I'm sure it is.
Yes, it has been out for a while. Let me look. I'm trying to find the year in here.
But just to what I would like to add, you a person would have to be in a mighty good place from your slides, Kat, to
Hmm.
be aware of that. Talk about knowing thyself. You would have to be in a good place to be able to put that out to other people, because it starts with where are you at? And with the hustle and bustle and rat race of life, most people are not mindful of what signals and vibrations they are sending out to others. I was one of those people, and I'm still a work in process because I could come into a room, and my father, rest his soul, he always had his game face on. So naturally, when people see me sometime, they think that I was angry and upset. And as I got older and I realized that, I smile at people when I come into a room a lot more. I speak to people because I know by default, my game face is my game face. And if I have my game face on, I notice that people tend to give me negative feedback. So it's being really mindful of yourself enough to be able to be aware of what vibration, what are you giving out to people you come encounter with to even evolve into, well, what is my love language? So that's pretty deep there. I'm gonna read the book now that has been brought back to my attention and my own, just trying to be approachable and accessible when I come into a room so people will feel that they have access to me, not taking advantage of me and, trying to be a spin doctor because no one has time for that. I want people to know that I am accessible if they are coming with love and positive energy and positivity. Because if you're not coming with that, it's a lot going on, especially with this pandemic. It's a lot going on to be entertaining negativity and negative love signs. Because if there are positive love signs, of course, there are negative signs that we could be giving out that's doing the exact opposite. So that's what I would have to say on this topic.
Absolutely. And you touch on a very big point when you initially started talking and say, like, you have to be, self aware of where you are in your journey to be able to receive that. And one of, like, I have two sayings that I probably say almost every day, which is, you are what you consume and you attract where you are. Because what you feed your soul and your body is the same things that is poured right back into you. And so when you're not in necessarily a healthy space or going through things, you may surround yourself with the same kind of people because that's kind of the environment of where you're in. Um, and then also just being mindful of, like, the things that you watch on TV, the kind of music that you listen to, what you read. I know social media is such a big platform now. So, like, if you are a person who's on social media, being aware of the things that you're even taking in from that and how much you're consuming of it, to make sure that you're still in a good mental space for yourself at the end of the day. Especially, right now during a time of COVID and a lot of people, working from home or having those limitations and restrictions, it's important to make sure that you're trying to be as healthy as possible and maintaining yourself in good spaces.
And a good question to ask, I ask myself this: what am I under the influence of? Am I under the influence of positivity, fruits of the spirit, or am I angry about something and am I under the influence of anger, unforgiveness? Because mentally we are under the influence. This mind here is a powerful thing, and our mind directs our choices, behavior. Our mind is it's the nucleus. It's the operating center right here. And if your mind is not clear and you're telling yourself negative things, you're going to perpetuate that. So to evolve to what is a love language, that would take probably a really good self-reflection and some purging of some behavior so you can get to the positivity and flow with love. That's a better place to be in. I know it is for me.
Thank you. Very thorough. Thank you. I um I received a text regarding our subject matter for today, and so I just would like to ask Gregory. He shared a very important component on today's. Gregory, would you like to speak on what you sent me? Are you available to speak? If not, I can read it.
Also, Gregory, if you are available to speak, you're on mute and your camera is off just in case.
Oh, shoot. I'm just having a lot of problems here today.
Would you prefer if I read it?
Can you hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, go ahead.
Would you prefer if I just read the text message?
Sure.
Okay. So Gregory replied to the text of today's subject and says, living on this planet, we have been mentally trained to receive without love. We have a automatic and instinctive temptation to move into judgment, attack, and defensiveness. To change this, it requires releasing a thought system of fear, accepting my thoughts system based on life, develop a thought system based on love and not fear. So I thought this was a very valid point of it, just looking at it from different perspectives of different households, of how we all was raised differently, how we all have different traumas, different perspectives, things like that. All of that is to be taken in consideration when we are considering our love language as well as the love languages of others in order to be able to receive it wholeheartedly in the way that it is given without toxicity um, attached with it. So that's all I have at the moment. Ashley, would you like to add, or Linda, did you have anything else that you would like to share?
Yes, actually, thank you, Griffey, for bringing that component up. When we talk about operating out of a place of fear, that's real. And I think that it is something that we become accustomed to. And we don't know how to necessarily break that cycle or how to change things until we're kind of just, we have that wake up call one day. Like, I want to live a different life. I want to attract more. I want to become a better version of myself. And I've learned to change my perspective in regards to fear. And there was a saying like, fear is false evidence appearing real. And when we talk about the component of our mindset and how powerful it is, there's literally like the small habits and things that we do on a daily basis is what shapes our reality. And your perception is your reality. And until you know better, you're not able to really do better or to seek more or to seek love, especially if you're still in those same surroundings that hurt you. You can't heal where you've been hurt. It's impossible. And another thing too, when it comes to like engaging and interacting with people, sometimes, we all have been through situations that may have harmed us and that may have changed the way that we perceive certain people in our lives. A big thing of that too is, I know sometimes it's hard to be able to communicate when we're done wrong and when people don't show up for us in the way that we need them to. And somebody asked me this a couple years ago, and it even changed the way that I dealt with people. And the question was, how will someone know that they've done you wrong if you've never spoken up about it? Because what we'll sometimes do is we take what they have done or said or, whatever their action may have been, we take it to heart and we become offended by it, which is kind of an instinct that we have for some of us. And then we hold on to that. And so the next few interactions we have with them, or the next few conversations, or if we receive a phone call from them, we begin to feel funny on the inside a little bit. And it's unresolved because it's never been talked about. And so a person may not have done it with the intent to be harmful or to be offensive. And so if you never are able to have that conversation with them, you're holding on to something that they are not even aware of. And that just leads to further miscommunication or distance, or even sometimes, problems within a relationship, and you may no longer have that person in your life because something was not effectively communicated. I want to leave you all with this. This is a different book that I'm reading from, but it's very insightful, and it talks about the component of fear, and then it has an affirmation. And this kind of helped me address the component of fears in my life. So in order to shape a new perspective, it says, today I am the witness to my fear. I open my heart and mind to see how I have chosen fear over love. Today I will watch myself as if I'm standing across the street, peeking into the world I have created. I will witness how my fears run the show. I will pay attention to my patterns. Without judgment, I will become conscious of where my mind chose wrongly and how these fear-based thoughts have tainted my happiness. I know this practice is the first step to uncovering my destructive patterns to create powerful change. I am ready, willing, and able to look at the delusional thoughts that I've been projecting. I'm willing to witness my fear. And so the daily affirmation that comes with that is simply, I am willing to witness my fear. And the activity that it gives you, it says this: whenever you notice your fears rise up during the day, repeat the preceding affirmation. For instance, if you become anxious at work, nervous before a date, or uncomfortable meeting someone new, you can simply use the affirmation, I am willing to witness my fear. The practice of witnessing your fear is important because it guides you to understand your triggers. This awareness will be helpful in upcoming exercises. So take the time throughout the day by plugging this into your phone as an hourly reminder. When the alarm goes off, read your affirmation to gently remind yourself to look courageously at your fear straight on and say, I am willing to witness my fear. I'm going to share this book with everyone. I'll put the name of it and the author in the chat, but it is called May Cause Miracles. And it's a 40-day guidebook of subtle shifts for radical change and unlimited happiness. I will say that it provides you with morning affirmations and evening affirmations, and sometimes some like activities to do. And so like even after just reading that segment, at the end of it, it has like 4 different questions that it asks about fear. Like, what are your triggers? What are the experiences that happen? How do you feel when you are triggered? And like, what do you tell yourself? So being mindful of that and how you're operating out of that space is really important sometimes, because if you're leading with fear, then that's where a lot of like self-doubt and indecisiveness will come in, because you aren't allowing yourself to really just go after what it is that you want to go for, or have those difficult conversations, because you may be afraid of losing that person or how they may perceive what you're trying to say. But recognizing that sometimes the best thing that you can do is show up for yourself, even through those difficult moments. And here's that book.
Okay. I like to comment, but Gregory, go ahead.
Yeah, but I like what Adrian said, but I think you have to dissolve the conditioning of fear to allow unconditional love to come in. Okay, and being a male is harder for us because we don't want to be vulnerable. Okay, vulnerability is the fear we have also. Okay,
Sure.
and you know, that's what we biblically we always supposed to have unconditional love. You know, and that's no conditions on it, because we get defensive, and that's part of the fear. And the fear of sometimes the greatest fear we have is ourselves. Am I going to be liked? Can I accept criticism?
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah, can I accept criticism? Or is someone talking about me? Am I beautiful? So that to me, that's the greatest fear. It's the fear of our being who we are.
Right. And I work around a lot of people. I'm glad I come in contact with so many different peoples and personalities. And when I see different behavior, I think I'm a psychologist by nature. A lot of stuff come from our childhood. And it's childhood, by default, we may have been raised in a hostile environment where confrontation was the love language, and hollering and shouting and cursing is by default, people go to that. But I always say, as an adult, we need to do some self-reflection, and there's all types of mental health help. And when people say, well, psychiatrists and mental health, a lot of people may think, oh, I'm not crazy. I'm not going to a psychologist or a psychiatrist, but they are there to help you get out of that default bad negative behavior. Because yeah, fear is the false evidence appearing real, and we cannot operate that by that, because it will block you from, to me, it'll block you from your blessings. And I'm a spiritual person, and I have a lot of spiritual practices that help me overcome this world. And I just seen Tina Turner life story, and she went to some spiritual practices that helped her. And it's needed, it's necessary, and the battle, again, I'm just going to say it again, is in our mind. And a lot of times we have to purge or reprogram our mind to operate better in this world, especially now with all this social media and things like
I just wanted to comment on a couple things. I've been writing stuff down like crazy because there are a lot of gems that I wasn't expecting to pick up here. But first of all, thank you guys so much for inviting me to this space and for having this space and everything. It's amazing. Um, and really, what hit home for me is fear, the whole fear acronym, the false evidence appearing real. That is so true. And I think that talking about how we operate out of fear, especially in like especially in like relationships and just with our interactions within ourselves, I think it's very powerful. And I'm glad that we're holding this conversation alongside of your love languages, because that's I know my love language. I'm very much a words of affirmation person and quality time. Um, but I never explored that with myself. You know what I mean? I've always looked for it from other people and from my family or my friends or, romantic partners or whatever, but never really like trying to give that to myself. So like that's definitely a huge takeaway that I got from all of this. So thank you guys.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Does anybody else have anything to say?
I do. Hi guys, it's Adrian. I had this discussion today with my best friend about times when we are trying to find our love language, we also have to sometimes hold others accountable for how um, they are interacting with you. Like, we understand that there's a lot of childhood traumas that many people have not dealt with, but actively kind of calling them out, not in a hurtful way, but in so they can understand that your love, that the way of showing their love language is not going to be for the relationship that you're trying to build. Whether it's dating, friendships, and things of that nature, you have to have conversations, because there's a lot of us that are so scared to just say, "Hey, friend, you're kind of being sucky right now," because you don't want to hurt their feelings. But sometimes people will keep having these different traits, and they keep going on, and nobody has never sat down and said to them, "Hey, the way that you are loving right now, let's talk about it. What happened in your childhood?" We never have those conversations deeply when we are dating people, for them to really, like, you know what, maybe that is why I'm acting like that. So just having those accountability conversations will definitely help out with having those better connections when it comes to loving one another. That's the biggest thing that I learned in recent years for myself.
Thank you for sharing.
Yeah.
Does anyone else have any input that they would like to add on our subject? Ashley, where do you suggest that we can find the book that you have in your possession?
Yes, so I put both of the books, their titles and the author's name into the chat on Zoom. And both of them are available on Amazon, or if you guys have like a Barnes and Noble or, you know, a bookstore that you guys go to, they're pretty popular books. So you shouldn't have a problem with finding them in any store.
Okay,
But
awesome.
Amazon would be, you know, the obvious choice. You can just get it delivered to your door.
Awesome. Linda, is there anything else that you would like to add or share at all?
The young lady and what I've heard, and I wanted to say is accountability and people that we are around who may tolerate negative behavior. And like Adrian said, don't pull a friend to the side or someone you're in relationship with and say, you know what, your behavior, I don't know what you're going through, if that's from childhood, but that behavior right there of being negative, cussing people out, always talking about somebody, that type of behavior needs to be checked. And you know, anybody that's around me that's not putting out positive energy around people, I'm going to let them know. I'm going to pull them to the side, or I'll do it in front of everybody, but I don't want to embarrass someone because they may not know that their behavior is offensive, and it's offensive to me. And I'm not going to sit back and just watch someone with bad behavior tear somebody down. So, and I have to be careful of that, especially in these days. I was at the gym and this guy went off on this elderly man, and I was like, hey, what's going on? And then he started hollering at me. So I had to go get security for trying to defend someone being bullied. But and that the police end up coming, yada yada yada. So I'll think twice about that again. I have to be mindful of that. But the people you are around, your circle should help you grow and be a better person. And if they're not, you need to maybe relook at that circle, because if everybody in that circle is negative and has a negative love language, that's the wrong circle to be in. And we are a product of our environment, whether it's at home, our upbringing, who we work around, who we hang around. We are a reflection of them. And my family know I want us to represent in a positive way. And if I notice any negativity from my family and friends, they're gonna get a text, a call, or I'm gonna tell them face to face, hey, that ain't good. So that we have to be examples. We have to let our light shine, and with love language, and in this world now more than ever, and during this pandemic, we got to be the light. We got to be the light of the earth.
Absolutely.
And
Yeah.
I'll be it. I'll be it. I guess that's why I'm here. I'll be it. And I don't care who get mad about it either, because I got nice height, nice amount of weight on me, and I can handle myself. That's the east side of Detroit. Don't scratch that. Scratch that. I'm just saying. Hey.
Sagittarius.
And I'm a Sagittarius.
Oh,
The
look at
hunter.
that.
Yeah, the hunter.
Me too.
Really? November or December?
November 28th.
Okay, that's why all that intelligence resides over here. That's good. I'm a December Sagittarius.
Okay.
Yep. So that's what I have to say. Just be the light, be positive, and it'll make the world a better place. Definitely.
You know what you're saying? Consciousness is everything. And a lot of times, you know, we operate probably 90% on subconscious level, the habits we good. And all you're doing is making people aware. That's not negative, that's very positive, because unless you are making me aware, how do I know what I'm doing? So that's a very positive trait. It's not, I'm glad you mentioned that, because, you know, we're not conscious sometimes, because all these habits and conditioning we've been through all our lives. And sometimes it's just letting you aware.
And it's, but you know what I found, Gregory, it's how you do it.
Yeah.
It's still, how do you address that issue? Because you don't want to embarrass nobody or offend no one. So I have to be like strategic in how I will, and I can take constructive criticism.
Yeah.
I'll probably get some later on today. No, I'm just playing. I can take constructive criticism though. I have to. That's the only way you're gonna grow.
Right.
But everyone is not there. So it's how you correct the behavior is important too. Yep.
We have a young person in our audience today that would like to speak on her love languages and her growth as well. So we love to hear from you, Nari.
Well, I have multiple love languages that I have noticed. One would be affirmation, and another one would be physical touch, and another would be quality time, and that's just one I just noticed today. And physical touch. There's one more, and gift giving. I have, like, sometimes it'll be all in combined. Like, I'll give a gift and then I'll be like, oh, you deserved it because, you know, you, like, I don't know. But I don't know, I just noticed that. And just other things I have been aware by myself is I, like, there's a lot of things that I would like to work on. And thank you, Ashley, for the whole fear quotation, because I have a lot. I have a lot, and there's one thing, I tend to be very headstrong, tunnel vision. So when I see something I want to do it immediately. Like when I was learning how to roller skate, I had all of these type of things I wanted to do when I first got them, and I took my time. I was very proud of myself through all my journey. It's been almost 4 months of me roller skating, and I don't know. I love to do everything. Like I'll watch a video, I'm like, okay, I want to do this. But yeah, everything takes time, and as much as it's really irritating that everything do gotta take time, but it's all time and matter, and God's plan too. So that whole fear, I will witness my fear. I was like, I like that, because it was just like, okay, like I just want to be a part of my fear. Like I don't want my fear to be against me. I want to be it. And I don't know, that right there was just a very eye opener. Like I feel better. I'm like, okay, now what I want to do now is I'm just like, I don't know, just this much fire that I have. I don't know, but that, and just a lot of things. I had a psychology assignment a couple weeks ago, and it was saying about how it was defense mechanisms, and you had to pick out 3 or 4. I chose 3. Choose 3 of the 15 mechanisms, and you're supposed to give an example of how you use them every day. And I don't remember every single one of them, but I remember one that stuck out the most, which was undoing. And undoing is when you hurt someone and you feel guilty about it, like a couple minutes later, and then you want to do right by them. Like, I'll do example, my brother. I tend to be very harsh. I can't help it. But I tend to be very harsh. And when I do, he don't express his hurt, but I don't notice it because I be on my own thing. But sometimes my mother do be like, you know, did this, fix it. And I'm like, oh, I didn't think about it until now. So then I feel guilty, and then I go ahead and hug him, or I speak out. And then as much as he don't really pay attention to me, but I at least like to address that I apologize for how much my attitude or my actions have affected him. And then, you know, we work it out, you know, and I like that. And there was another one, I can't really remember the name, but it was how sometimes I can't remember. But yeah, I'll probably come to next meeting and I'll like talk about it again. But yeah, just other things. And a psychology assignment really helped me to be more aware of myself and how I can really be a little harsh but yet still so loving. I don't understand it. But so that's basically it. Thank you, Katherine.
Thank you. She's my daughter, everyone. Just keep my daughter.
Thank you for sharing. And that's really important, like the component of undoing and unlearning, and also it's a process. And so the fact that you're even starting so young is great.
Yes.
By the time you get to where we are and up, you already you gaining the tools.
Yep, and this behavior and should be taught in childhood. So that's a blessing to come across this type of teaching so you can start making some good habits already, because you have people that never get this. They 60, 70 years old and they're not mindful of their behavior towards others and how it impacts them. And that's good. This should be in the school books. This should be a class. This should be taught middle school, high school, definitely. Definitely. But to get this information just need to be shared. And yeah, I would like to work with more youth and spread information like this, because especially in our community, we have some behavior problems. We do. We have some bad behavior problems that I hope to see them change in my lifetime, because they come from centuries ago and they're horrible. Some of them are horrible. So that's good.
That phrase, they're just stuck in their ways, needs to go away. That's basically what it is.
Yep.
Yeah.
But they need to be aware that their behavior is not right. And if everybody around them is doing the same thing, then it's normal. They think it's normal until they get into another environment that doesn't tolerate that. And then they're angry. And it needs to be taught to our youth, to our children. Yes.
Chris, please feel free to jump in. I know you raised your hand. Just feel free. Yes.
Okay. Hi. First of all, I want to thank you guys. This is a great topic. This is nice. I just wanted to piggyback on the point when they were saying, holding people accountable. You also have to be gentle when you choose to do this. So myself, every day within my prayer, I always say, let my speech be seasoned graciously with salt, so I can know how to speak to every man accordingly. So that way, some things won't come off so harsh, because even though we look at them and it may not be right, but we do have to take a little pause so we can know how to address each other. Because like the young lady said, something she was trying to help out turned so opposite. So sometimes we just have to put that in our prayers, that our speech be graciously seasoned with salt, then we'll know how to speak to everyone accordingly. That was it.
Thank you.
Oh, you're welcome.
This is such a great conversation.
I love this topic and all of the engagement that we received today. This is so awesome. Thank you so much, everybody, for your input. Ashley, I don't have anything else I want to share. Did you have anything?
One last snippet. I'm going to pull a prayer card from my stack here. So guess I'm dropping all kinds of gems. So listen, y'all, look, there's this box here of prayer cards. They came from Dollar Tree and they're really good. Let's see. Oh, wait.
After you read the prayer card and the scripture, then I'm gonna close in prayer when you complete everything.
Okay. It says, because of the Lord's great love, we are not consumed, for his compassions never fail. Okay, I'm going to be honest. I'm probably about to butcher the scripture's name here, but I'm going to do my best. I'm going to say Lamentations 3:22. That's what I have.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
So we're going to conclude in prayer because prayer is so powerful. The fact that we're all here together, we have to give praise to our Most High for waking us up today and just for us being here in this moment in divine timing. And so we're just going to bow our heads in prayer, and then we're going to conclude for this evening. Thank you, Heavenly Father, for everything that you do for us. We know that we are in divine alignment right now with our divine tribe, doing divine work, and we are just so grateful for this moment. And everything it represents, all of the growth it allows us to harness and share with one another. We ask that you continue to protect us, to provide, to love us, to give us wisdom, discernment, and courage in the times where we're not feeling so courageous or so confident within ourselves. We ask that you help us to give and receive love, as it is meant, because we know that you are love. And so everything revolves and evolves around love and compassion for ourselves and one another. We also want to pray because there are a few people that comes here on our weekly sessions that are sick in this moment. And so we just want to pray for those who are not able to make it due to ailments out of our control. We ask that you protect them and shield them and help them to heal in miraculous ways. And we ask that you bless each and every one of us with a love for ourselves and others that will stand the test of time and that will help to promote more healing into this world in our own individual ways. And so we thank you for everything, and we love you, and we give you all the praise and glory in Jesus' name. Amen.
Amen. Thank you.
Amen.
Amen.
Thank you all. We will be back next week, same place, same time.
See y'all next Thursday.
Okay. See y'all later.
Bye, everybody.
Thank you.
Stay safe.
Bye.
Okay, you too. Bye.